Madam Chair and members, House Bill 2780 requires a county recorder to publish a list of eligible voters on the county recorder's website as outlined, digitally publish after an election and 5 days before a county canvass a list of all persons who voted and their voting method, provide for an identifying indicator to be linked to ballots, and sort paper ballots in a manner convenient for retrieval. Madam Chair, this bill has one amendment I would be happy to explain.
Please do.
Madam Chair, the proposed amendment in the chair's name requires a county recorder to submit a list of persons who voted, ballot images, and the vote cast record to the Secretary of State for publishing 48 hours after the delivery of the official county canvass, rather than 5 days before the county canvass. The amendment also requires the list of persons who voted to include voter names and addresses, and requires the county recorder or other officer in charge of elections to redact personal identifying information, which the amendment now defines. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff?
That sounds awfully familiar.
Does sound awfully familiar. Sponsor, go ahead.
Thank you, State Representative John Kavanaugh. And I probably will just take 30 seconds. Staff described it very well. This is pretty much about transparency. I think even New York State is doing the images online. People question, good or right or wrong, but nothing like a little bit of sunshine to allay people's concerns that things are not being totally above board. The idea and much of the mechanics of this bill came from former Senator and Senate President Ken Bennett, who's in the room today. He was also involved on site with the Senate audit, and this is something which he thought would be a good bill, a good idea based on that. So I will, unless there are questions for me, I'll turn the mic over to him.
Any questions for the sponsor?
Madam Chair, who this Ken, what? Who?
You know him when you see him.
The Right Honorable Ken Bennett.
Madam Chair, my name is Ken Bennett, and I had the honor of sitting in those chairs for 8 years, Secretary of State for 6, and every day for about 5 months down at the audit. And if I learned one thing, I learned that our elections need to be transparent, trackable, and publicly verified. Now, those are 3 words or phrases that I learned from a good friend who is a staunch Democrat. We would never probably vote for the same people, and that's John Brakey, who was the co-founder of an organization in Tucson called Audit USA. He'll tell you what Audit USA stands for, but it's all about increasing the confidence in our elections by making them trackable, transparent, and publicly verified. And so the purpose of this bill is to release 4 pieces of data to the public so that anyone who wants to audit our elections. I had a very productive meeting for just a few seconds with Jen from ACO, from the counties. The election family of Arizona is my family, and I'm not interested in doing anything that we can't get their support on. So we've talked about amendments further on at Cal and throughout the rest of the process to get this bill to a point where I hope we have a majority of both caucuses in the Senate support it. And I met with many of you individually, but the 4 things, they're in the bill. Who's eligible to vote, including the inactive, who voted, and of course everybody who voted should come from who was eligible to vote list, and then the ballot images, which do not disclose whose ballots those were. So we want to maintain confidentiality. And then the cast vote record is the 4th document that allows anyone who wants to verify to say that the votes on those ballot images were correctly tabulated in the cast vote record. And the people who voted in the election were eligible to vote. And that type of transparency, I think, will go a long way to reestablish confidence in our elections. Stand for any questions if you have any. But
Any questions?
at this hour of the day, I know that brevity is.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and what do I call
Whatever you want to call me. My favorite title is Papa.
Okay. So I know you mentioned that you have, the bill is not quite where you'd like it to be.
Correct.
So Is that because you didn't give the amendments to the sponsor, or what's the, how?
Well, yes. The short answer is I'm not lobbying for anyone. I'm not a compensated lobbyist. I'm doing this, and the timing just kind of caught me off guard as far as when this hearing was going to be. I thought we were still a week away and would have liked to have participated in getting those amendments ready for the committee. I apologize, Senator and Madam Chair, Senator, that we didn't have those ready for you today, because as soon as possible I would like to get the bill in a form that can have broad support out of this body.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? Thank you for driving all the way down here.
Thank you. Thank you for your
and
time.
all the effort you've put into elections over the years.
bet.
We appreciate that.
Chair,
Thank you to the sponsor.
And to the sponsor,
let's see, may I go with Bonnie Lund, Morgan Perry, Jen Marson. Get the job done, Jen. Get the job done, Jen. This means be against everything.
Okay, Madam Chair, members, for the record, Jen Marson with the Association of Counties. We are opposed at this time, so here are some things we would like to see moving forward in an amendment. Senator Borelli, your bill 1629 actually has preferred language in terms of putting ballot images online. That language includes things like holding the counties harmless from liability for whatever may be written on the ballot, right? Because we're not going to redact, we're just going to straight up post the image, and you would be surprised what people write on their ballots. So that, we also want to make sure that in terms of destroying, degrading, or otherwise altering the images, that there's penalties for the viewer who might do that, so that it can't be used to, create a new file, claim it to be the original file, and say, see, here's the way the county screwed up, right? So all of that is in 1629. We would like to see that carried over. In terms of the word redact, we would prefer shall not be published, and here's why. Redaction creates the black box on the information. We would rather just not publish that information instead of having a bunch of black boxes on the document that were, quote, redacted. So we have 2 places that mention redaction. We'd like to change that to shall not be published. I think there are some other ticky-tacky things that I won't get into here, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And I already talked to Mr. Bennett. Obviously, I've talked to Mr. Kavanaugh, and I think we can get close as we get to the floor.
Madam Chair.
if it's about ticky-tacky, yes.
I just wanted to verify that I heard correctly, Madam Chair, Jen, you said Borelli had the preferred language?
Right? Madam Chair, Senator Mesnard, I am as surprised as you are. No, but we worked with Mr. Borelli at length on 1629, especially on the ballot images online. Now, this deals with more than just ballot images, of course, but in terms of the ballot image language, we much prefer that version. So thank you for that moment of levity. I appreciate it.
Please.
Accuracy.
To that point, Senator Mesnard, I have better staff.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, unfortunately, you asked for it, you got it, John Brakey. Please state your name for the record, sir, and you got a minute and a half.
Thank you. My name is John Brakey. I'm with a group called Audit Elections USA. Audit is an acronym. It stands for Americans United for Democracy, Integrity, and Transparency. What we do is not about the right or left, it's about right and wrong. I had the privilege to serve under Ken Bennett when he called me late March, early April, and asked if I would get involved. At that point right there, we started dialoguing because I knew the situation about elections in Arizona because I've been doing Arizona elections for 18 years. I have sued Maricopa County 8 times over probably 16 years, okay? Pima County, I was in one lawsuit for 9 years. I know where the problems are. And the solution to all of this is in this bill. It's called transparency. We need transparency really bad because cynicism is destroying our country. What goes on and things that are said, and some things are true, some are not, we need to deal in facts. We need to be able to take the black box and make it into a transparent box. In this country right now, 50 million Americans believe that Trump's election was stolen. 63% of the people think that our democracy is in trouble. I'm one of that 63%. I do believe that. I do believe what's going on is very damaging. It's damaging the rest of the world. I think Ukraine, because the division in our country has only instructed other people to do things that are bad. I think that we have to have elections that we can believe in. I want you to know in the 2020 election, there's talk about this place overvoted too much of this. 80 million people in the 2020 election did not vote in this country. A lot of people in this country belong to what I call the Mark Twain party. That's the party that believes if elections made a difference, they wouldn't let us do it. We need to prove to those people that elections are real. We could have a ballot library if we put the inkjet and follow the law. It would be easy to have everybody be able to get the images by precinct or by batch, add them up themselves, and then be able to earn a ballot card to go pull a couple of images and go to the ballot library and match them up. The law is that if you have to either outstack the ballot to do electronic adjudication, or you have to put a number on it. And that means marrying the ballot to the image. Of course, this is done when the ballot becomes anonymous and is a clear separation. Anyway, I've passed out some packages that explain the amendments that we want. I'm urging my Democratic colleagues, please, let's go through it together. Let's make some more minor amendments. I like very much what she brought up. I think those things that she's talking about are very realistic. We want one big thing to come out of this bill. We want to be able at the very end call it the Arizona miracle, that we never have to go through a crazy audit like we did, that we can prevent that. And maybe we could send a message out to the rest of the country that Arizona's got it figured out. They know that elections aren't any good unless they're transparent, trackable, publicly verified. Let's be the first to do this. Maryland already does use the images. They have a separate company come in and re-audit, but they didn't make them public. We can go all the way. In the documents, you'll find a fact sheet and clearly help you understand that the actual act of voting is the secret process. Counting is a public process, and Senator Borrelli, you said it so well in Senate Hearing 1119 on that bill. And I thank you for your work. I thank everybody here that can make this thing happen and help the rest of our country and the planet maybe. I think that's how important it is, and I thank you. And I'd be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Yes.
Yes,
Senator Burley.
thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Brakey, we talked before, we were brought up tallying the votes 14 days during early voting, and would you say that's a kind of a dangerous thing to do?
Well, it is dangerous, and I can tell you by facts that I caught Pima County going into their audit logs that every election from 2000, since they bought their Diebold system in the beginning, until we caught them, that the first day of counting, they would print a report secretly, okay, and we found it in their audit log, and then 2 days later, they'd print another one, and then they would never print one because you're supposed to print a cards cast report. It tells you how many people voted, but it doesn't give any results. They were printing some of these reports in Pima County. They even bought a special stamp, and I can deliver you a video with testimony in a trial that we won, that the county had to change the whole system. That's just one of our lawsuits, that this all went down. And you know, I know that when you do that, it's a chain of custody is everything in an election. The shorter the chain, the better it is. The minute it gets long, you get into difficulties. I think that some of the bills I heard today, I was very impressed. But boy, 46 pages? I mean, you know, there's a lot of impact. And I realize their concerns on the Democratic part of all of this. I like to see bills that are one page with an amendment, and we bite little pieces and we handle it, like the amendment sheets that we passed out to everybody. And I hope we get, you know, what worries me the most about everything is that if this turns into just a Republican bill, I lost. I work in other states. I see what's going on. I know what's going on in Michigan. I'm going to be back in North Carolina in April. I got litigation going in Florida. You know, it's kind of strange that my Democratic colleagues in Florida are my plaintiffs, and I'm working with them. No Republicans. And here, I'm working with a lot of Republicans because I hooked up with a guy who has a big fault. He's honest to a fault. That's what I like about Ken Bennett. We're never going to vote alike, okay? But you know, he's a father, I'm a father, we love our children, we love our country, and we're very concerned about what's going on. And that's why this bill is so special. And I hope that anytime I have to be up here to spend with people one-on-one to try to get them convinced how important this thing is, it's vital. We need transparency. That's the solution. It's took me, I don't know, took me 18 years to get to that point. I want you to know, because you always look for the big one, and all of a sudden you come up and you go, wow, that's a simple solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your testimony.
Madam Chair, so in other words, yes?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I still think they're doing it, okay? Because who would like to get the football scores 7 days out? I don't know who's going to win or lose. Just walk around and say, hey, can I donate some money to you? Because I know you're going to win, but I'm picking the winners.
Okay.
You know, I'm talking to John or
All right.
whoever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who else do we have?
Madam Chair, that's it.
Okay. All right, well, seeing no further comments, let's go ahead and move the bill.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that House Bill 2780 receive a due pass recommendation, and I move the 2-page Townsend Amendment to HB 2780 dated March 18, 2022 at 11:19 a.m. be adopted.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Amendment is adopted. Please move the bill as amended.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that House Bill 2780 as amended receive a due pass recommendation.
Okay, please call the roll.
Senator Gonzalez?
Madam Chair, I need to explain my vote.
Please do.
I'm not ready to, this bill is certainly not ready to pass because we just spoke about the amendments that need to get on to help the counties and to, there's several items that need to be added to this to make it a better bill. I think that it is, that I hope to be able to vote for it on the floor, and that those amendments get placed on it in Cal. But at this time, I can't vote for it. But I certainly hope that my constituent Bill Reisner would be happy if I am able to vote for it on the floor. Thank you. And I vote no at this time.
Senator Hudley?
No.
Senator Messner?
Aye.
Senator Quesada? Senator Rogers?
Madam Chair, can I explain my vote? Please do.
Mr. Brakey, I've heard great things about you all through the Arizona audit. It's great to see you face to face. Ken Bennett as well. Thank you both. This has been a long journey, and as someone who comes from a culture of transparency and authentication, I think it's wonderful. Thank you, and I vote aye.
Senator Burley?
Madam Chair, may I explain my vote?
Please do.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know who, it was actually Mark Twain who had said that, or it was Will Rogers. I think Will Rogers might have said something a little bit similar. But also heard that in military terminology, the reason why officers fly aircraft in the military is because they knew the enlisted guys were having too much fun, and therefore I vote aye.
Sorry, Senator Quesada? Senator Townsend?
Aye.
That's 4 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 not voting.
4 ayes, 2 nays, 1 not voting. You have passed House Bill 2780. So, where is Mr. Hoffman?